values of service my family gave me into public life, wanting to make a difference. And I've had extraordinary opportunities, thanks again to those folks back home in Connecticut, as a state senator, as an attorney general, fighting to enforce the law, to protect them and the environment, and as consumers, and to litigate on behalf of human rights. And then for the last 12 years as a member of the Senate of the United States, focusing on national security questions, environmental protection, economic growth, and values. But perhaps what I most bring is a friendship and shared values and shared priorities with Al Gore. I have tremendous respect for Al Gore. I've known him for 15 years. He's an outstanding person as a public official and as a private person. His life is built on his faith. It's devoted to his family. He volunteered for service in Vietnam from the beginning in Congress. He's been willing to take on the big interest and fight for average people. As Vice President, he's been, I think, the most effective Vice President in the history of the United States, and he's got the right program to use the prosperity all the American people have earned to help particularly hardworking middle-class families raise up their children to enjoy a better life. I think that's what this is all about, and why I'm so proud to be his running mate.
And because of my boo-boo, I'm going to direct this question again to Secretary Cheney. Have you noticed a contradiction or hypocritical shift by your opponent on positions and issues since he was nominated?
Boy, we've been trying very hard to keep this on a high plane, Bernie.
Thanks, Bernie.
I do have a couple of concerns where I like the old Joe Lieberman better than I do the new Joe Lieberman. Let me see if I can put it in those terms. Joe established, I thought, an outstanding record in his work on this whole question of violence in the media and the kinds of materials that were being peddled to our children. And many of us on the Republican side admired him for that. There is, I must say, the view now that having joined with Al Gore on the ticket on the other side, that that depth of conviction that we'd admired before isn't quite as strong as it was perhaps in the past. The temptation on the one hand to criticize the activities of the industry, as was pointed out recently in the Federal Trade Commission, where they're taking clearly material meant for adults and selling it to our children. At the same time, they are participating in fundraising events with some of the people responsible for that activity. Has been a source of concern for many of us. We were especially disturbed, Joe, at a recent fundraiser you attended where there was a comedian who got up and criticized George Bush's religion. I know you're not responsible for having uttered any words of criticism of his religion, but to some extent, my concern would be, frankly, that you haven't been as consistent as you had been in the past, that a lot of your good friends like Bill Bennett and others of us who'd admired your firmness of purpose over the years have felt that you're not quite the crusader for that cause that you once were.
Well, Bernie, you'll not be surprised to hear that I disagree. First, let me talk about that joke about religion, which I found very distasteful. And believe me, if anybody has devoted his life to respecting the role of religion in American life and understands that Americans from the beginning of our history have turned to God for strength and purpose, it's me. And you know, any offense that was done, I apologize for, and I thought that humor was unacceptable. Let me come to the question of Hollywood and then answer the general question. Al Gore and I have felt for a long time, first as parents, and then only second as public officials, that we cannot let America's parents stand alone in this competition that they feel they're in with Hollywood to raise their own kids and give their kids the faith and the values that they want to give them. And I've been a consistent crusader on that behalf. John McCain and I actually requested the Federal Trade Commission report that came out 3 or 4 weeks ago, which proved conclusively that the entertainment industry was marketing adult-rated products to our children. Now, that is just unacceptable. And one finding was that they were actually using 10 to 12-year-olds to test screen adult-rated products. When that report came out, Al Gore and I said to the entertainment industry, stop it. And if you don't stop it in 6 months, we're going to ask the Federal Trade Commission to take action against you. There was no similar strong response from our opponents. We repeated that message when we went to Los Angeles. I repeat it today. We will not stop until the entertainment industry stops marketing its products to our children. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time, but let me just say that Al Gore and I'm out. Maybe I can come back to it.
No, please continue. You have about 10 seconds. Pardon the interruption.
All right. Al Gore and I agree on most everything. We disagree on some things, and he said to me from the beginning, be yourself. That's why I chose you. Don't change a single position you have, and I have not changed a single position since Al Gore nominated me to be his vice president.
Gentlemen, now closing statements. A prior coin toss has determined that you begin, Senator Lieberman.
Thanks, Bernie. That went very quickly. Thank you, Bernie, and thanks, Dick Cheney, for a very good debate. I'm told that tens of millions of people have been watching this debate tonight. I must say that I wish one more person were here to watch it, and that's my dad, who died 15 years ago. If my dad were here, I would have the opportunity to tell him that he was right when he taught me that in America, if you have faith, work hard, and play by the rules, there is nothing you cannot achieve. And here I am, even the son of a man who started working a night shift on a bakery truck can end up being a candidate for Vice President of the United States. That says a lot about the character of this nation and the goodness of you, the American people. I will tell you that Hadassah and I have traveled around this country in the last couple of months and met thousands and thousands of parents, just like our moms and dads, hardworking middle-class people, paying their taxes, doing the jobs that keep the country running, trying so hard to teach their kids right from wrong, and believing in their hearts that their kids can make it. And I agree with them. But to make it, they need a leader who will stand up and fight for them, for good education, the best education in the world, for a sound retirement system, for prescription drug benefits for their parents, and for a government that is fiscally responsible, balances the budget, keeps interest rates down so that they can afford to buy a home or to send their kids to college. To me, Al Gore is that leader and will be that kind of president. You know, for 224 years, Americans have dreamed bigger dreams and tried bolder solutions than any other people on earth. Now is not the time to settle for less than we can be. As good as things are today, Al Gore and I believe that with your help and God's help, we can make the future of this good and blessed country even better. Thank you, God bless you, and good night.
Mr. Secretary.
Well, Bernie, I want to thank you and Joe as well. I've enjoyed the debate this evening, and also want to thank the folks here at Center College in Danville, Kentucky. They've really done a tremendous job of making this possible. This is a very important decision we're going to make on November 7th. We really have a fundamental choice between whether or not we continue with our old ways of big government, high taxes, an ever more intrusive bureaucracy, or whether we take a new course for a new era. And Governor Bush and I want to pursue that new course. We want to reform the Social Security system to guarantee that the benefits will be there for our retired folks, as well as make it possible